let me just show you the book. Cool. Hello everybody, my name is Kelsey and we're about to get very, very nerdy with a Christmas tag. Oh, that's hot, I gotta put it down. So today what I thought we would do is we would do a tag that is dedicated to the Christmas season. So we're going to be doing the Joys of Christmas tag, which is an original tag that I made last year at this time. And I'll do the exact same disclaimer that I did then, which was I looked at a lot of Christmas tags because there is quite a few out there, just to make sure that nothing that I was saying was on them. I still, to this day haven't found any tags that are or have the questions that I have, so I'm still gonna call this an original tag. So yeah, let's just get right into it. I was pretty proud of myself that nothing that was on last year's list except for one book is on this year's list, and it's 4 different prompts, so I feel accomplished. But with that being said, let's just get right into it. So the first question is Candy Cane, a book that's hard to get into but has a real hook. And for me, I chose Molly Warner's School Reporter by Dan Kildee. This one I read in November for the Believe-a-thon. I chose it for this prompt because for me, I didn't get involved in the story until about chapter 5 or 6, because a lot of the beginning was introducing the characters, introducing a lot of the world, as well as this is about reporting and journalism, and the author really wanted to educate middle grade readers about that while entertaining them, so he had to basically introduce you to all of the world and what news is for people who don't know. So you do need all of that beginning stuff, but the plot for me really didn't get started until about chapter 5 or 6, and that's why I chose this prompt, because it was really good, and once I was involved, I was there and I read it in one sitting, but it just took me a little bit to get into it. I still love this and ended up giving this 4 stars, I think. The next one is Hot Chocolate, a good, fun, cozy book for the entire family. And for me, I chose The Best Christmas Pageant Ever by Barbara Robinson. This one is super, super new to me this year. I recently bought this, and by me, I mean my husband, because his family really, really enjoys this. And this book is it's not even 100 pages. It is 100. It's 106 pages. But they're very tiny pages. And this reminds me a lot of a Roald Dahl book. I think I said his name right. And it was just super cute, and this is really a good book that you can just sit down one night with the entire family and read it, because it's 8 chapters long, but it doesn't take you very long to actually read. But it's really funny. It has a really good message at the very, very end that melted my heart. It has some funny moments for adults, but it also has some really great lessons for kids. So I thought it was really good, and it's entertaining. So the next question is Christmas Tree, a book that's really intimidating, but you loved once you read it. And for me, that is A Spark of Light by Jodi Picoult. This is about a shooting at a women's clinic. And it's just because of the topic and how intense that topic is. I put this off for a very long time. I wanted to read this in January. I got this at the end of last year, and I wanted to read it in January. That was my plan, was to read it in January or February, relatively close to the beginning of the year. I didn't read this until the fall, I think, just because every time I was oh, I should read that book, I would reread what it's about, and I'd be oh, I want to read this, but that's kind of intimidating, and I feel I need to be in the right mindset to read it. But it is such a good book. It's really well written, in that I think that Jodi does a lot of really good research that goes into this book. This, I said, takes place in a women's clinic. We're at this clinic. You can get abortions, you can get birth control, you can, there are a million things that you can do at this clinic, and abortion is just a teeny part of it. However, that is a big part of this book, and so she actually went to an abortion clinic and sat down with a bunch of people who were getting them or had gotten them, and I think she even sat down on an actual, early term and late term abortion, and so, she made sure that she was well prepared. And then on the reverse side of that, she also sat down with people who were against abortion, and just to understand both sides of the argument. And I think she did all of that research really helped her in constructing a story where both sides of this, I'll say dispute for lack of a better word, were really well written and were very humanized. And I just thought it was really good. But because the topic is such a really hard topic, because not only do you have a hostage situation with a shooter, like that in itself is a story, but you put it in the context of this clinic and it just makes it so much more intense. So I am really glad that I read this. This was such a good book, but it definitely was intimidating. The next prompt is Christmas Caroling, a book that you loved so much that all you want to do is sing it from the rooftops. And I have talked about this book so much on this channel, and I will continue to talk about this book for a long time. So this should be no surprise to anybody, but that is The School for Good and Evil, the first in this series by Somen Shinani. This book was amazing. I picked this up for the Believe-a-thon in November, and my god, it was good. I gave it 5 stars. It was amazing. It was action-packed. Like, there wasn't a section, except for like maybe the first chapter. Like, that might have been it, that something wasn't happening. Something was always happening. This was action-packed. And I don't mean action like they were fighting 24/7. No, I mean like something was happening in the story so that you didn't feel bored, which was amazing. And it's also got some really amazing themes for younger readers, and I won't go into too much detail about it because I've already talked about this so many times on my channel. But yeah, the themes in this book are amazing. I loved it, and I will continue to suggest this to anyone who will listen to me. So you have been warned. The next one is Christmas Lights, a book that lights up your mood, and for me I picked Red, White, and Royal Blue by Casey McQuestion. This is an adorable romance that came out this summer, so I'm sure you've heard about it, but it is between a prince in England and the first son of the President of the United States. And it's just this wholesome, amazing, beautiful story. It has to do a lot with politics because, you know, the president in the story is his mom. And the president in the story is a female and she's trying to be reelected. So there's a lot of US politics specifically in this book, so you have to kind of be okay with that. But at the same time, this is just a wholesome romance story and I freaking love it. This is definitely, I don't know if this is tailored towards YA or adult, but I would definitely call this new adult because it to me is in that in-between, because there are definitely many a steamy scene in this book, and it's just like, I love it. And there's a lot of prejudice that they have to get over, but it's just such a good, I just put myself in the eye, but it's such a good story, and I love it, and it's beautiful, and yeah, it was really good. The next prompt is Ornaments, a book that looks pretty normal to other people, but has a deeper meaning for you, and I promise that I have an explanation for this, and it's not the one that you were thinking. But for me, that book is Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, and I mean this copy exactly, because this is a beautiful UK paperback edition that my best friend Lauren bought me when she was over in England doing a study abroad for the summer, and she found this book and brought it back because it's the Philosopher's Stone edition, and I just fell in love with these paperback covers. They're so beautiful, and so she's helping me collect them, and I have the first 3 in the series already, and it's just so pretty. But this one just means a lot to me because every time I look at it, I think of her. But like, they're so pretty. I mean, can you tell me that this is not beautiful? Because like, if you can, who are you? So I just think of her when I see this book. It means a lot to me. She's the Ravenclaw to my Hufflepuff. We fangirl about Harry Potter and books in general, so like, I just have a lot of good feelings that go along with this copy specifically. The next book is Baking, a sweet read, and so like, this is the one that felt appropriate for this, and that is Bloom. This is a beautiful graphic novel that I read this year that I'm obsessed with, but it takes place in a baking shop between these 2 boys one summer. It just gives you like great, adorable vibes. This one's just a 1-volume edition, and it is pretty thick, but there's not quite a lot of dialogue. It's just a lot of amazing art, and I love it. I love it so much. And so like, they do a lot of baking in this book, mostly bread, so I like, what else am I going to use for this? Like, this is just the most appropriate thing ever. There are a lot of paperbacks on this list. I did good. I didn't pick a lot of really big ones, except for the next one. Oh, I lied. The next one is Presents, a book you were gifted or a book that you picked up not thinking much of but was a complete surprise. And I'm going to do the second half of this one. And for this, I chose Illuminae, the first in the Illuminae files by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. This book I borrowed from the library after a lot of people had been talking about it, and I didn't know what to expect from it. I knew it was in this really interesting, like, multi-mixed media format, which is, like, one of the main things that everyone talks about when they talk about this series. But, like, I wasn't really into sci-fi yet. I saw it in the library and I thought, you know, I might as well just try it, and then if I don't like it, it's okay. I can just take it back to the library and everything was fine. And then I, like, fell in love with this series, and it's so good. And this kind of started my re-love, I guess, of sci-fi, because it's not like I don't like sci-fi. I do. I just was very picky about the types of sci-fi that I read, and I still kind of am, but I think I'm letting a lot more in than I used to. And this series really started it off. So yeah, it was a complete and total surprise to me. I loved the way it was told with this mixed media format. Really glad that, like, I won my gut and just decided to pick this one up from the library because it was a very, very good decision. The next prompt is Santa, a jolly good read or a read that you had, like, so much fun reading. And for me, I chose My Lady Jane by Cynthia Hand, Brody Ashton, and Jodie Meadows. This one follows Lady Jane Grey, who was Queen of England for like a whole 9 days, and then gets her head chopped off. But these authors decided we don't really like that version of it, so we're gonna retell it, and there's some fantasy aspects of it, but like this book is so funny. I love it. It's really, really humorous. The narrators kind of break the fourth wall and talk to the audience a lot, and that's where I think all of the funny parts come in because they give their opinions on what's happening. I just really loved this book. And the last prompt is a book, your favorite Christmas read. And I'm really into, as of right now, I'm really into like romance books. And I'm reading a romance, like a historical romance book for Christmas this year, but this is one that I read last year and I loved it, so obviously it had to be this answer, and it's Pride and Prejudice and Mistletoe by Melissa De La Cruz. This is a fun Christmas Pride and Prejudice retelling where they swap the genders, so Darcy is a girl and the Elizabeth character, Luke, is a boy. If you like Hallmark movies, this is your book. This is totally exactly what a Hallmark movie is. It's even been turned into a Hallmark movie. If you like that cheesy romance stuff, which I really do around the holidays, I'm like trash for it. This is your book, and I love it. It is so good. But yeah, those are all of the books that I have for this tag. This is always so much fun for me to do. I love it so much. So I will leave all of the questions down below if you would like to do it. Please feel free to do it. I won't tag anybody again just because there are so many out there. So if you would love to do it, I would love to see your answers to those questions. Or you can just tell me them down below. That would be awesome too. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you give this video a big thumbs up if you liked it. And subscribe if you want to be part of this awesome growing family. And I will see you guys in my next video.